Welcome back, friends. Another big hour of Friday Live on this September 19th, 2025. I'm Jim.
And I am Cheryl, and we are happy you are with us.
And we could make a rhyme. I should have been rhyming this all year long. Well,
I am Jim.
That it's Friday Live on September 19th, 2025. Live and 5. Rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
I haven't had enough coffee
No.
to process that yet
Crazy.
today. Today is an extra coffee day for me.
Ooh, but a nice day.
It's Friday, and it is beautiful. We still have a little touch of July, August weather in the air. So I was out riding my bike early this morning. Felt great.
Well, this hour, we're going to have our gospel reading for this coming Sunday, which is the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Dr. Scott Hahn will give the reflection. And then later on this hour, John, and I'm going to say Preiss, P-R-E-I-S-S. I'll have to ask him how to correctly pronounce his name if I'm not. Is going to reflect on a book that was written by Father Robert Fox, who was the founder of the family apostolate, Fatima family apostolate, on the Eucharist. And now Mr. Preiss is the director of the Fatima family apostolate. So he knows a lot about Father Fox and share with us what Father wrote in this book about the Eucharist.
Oh, wonderful. And I'm not that familiar with those apostolates, so this will be enlightening for me, too.
Okay. Well, we'll start with our gospel reading for this coming Sunday, the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time.
Yes, and I do have that here. It is a holy gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, "A rich man had a steward who was reported to him for squandering his property. He summoned him and said, 'What is this I hear about you? Prepare a full account of your stewardship, because you can no longer be my steward.' The steward said to himself, 'What shall I do now that my master is taking the position of steward away from me? I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I know what I shall do so that when I am removed from the stewardship, they may welcome me into their homes.' He called in his master's debtors one by one. To the first he said, 'How much do you owe my master?' He replied, 100 measures of olive oil. He said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Sit down and quickly write one for 50. Then to another steward said, 'And you, how much do you owe?' He replied, 100 cores of wheat. The steward said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Write one for 80. And the master commended that dishonest steward for acting prudently. For the children of this world are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. If, therefore, you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? You are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. He will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon. The gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
When Jesus tells a tale, the moral of the story is always mercy. This week, we hear his famous parable of the vineyard. Though we, like St. Augustine, can lament that we are so late in coming to love the Lord, his rewards remain lavish. Find out more next on Breaking the Bread. The house of Israel is the vine of God, who planted and watered it, preparing Israel to bear fruits of righteousness. But the Israelites failed to yield good fruits, and the Lord allowed his vineyard, Israel's kingdom, to be overrun by conquerors, the Gentiles. But God promised that one day he would replant his vineyard, and its shoots would blossom to the ends of the earth. This is the biblical background to Jesus' famous parable. The vineyard is the kingdom. The landowner, of course, is the Lord. The workers hired at dawn are the Israelites to whom he first offered his covenant. Those hired later in the day are the Gentiles, the non-Israelites, who, like us, until the coming of Christ, were strangers to the covenants of promise. In the Lord's great mercy, the same wages, the same blessings promised to the first called, Israel, will be paid to those called last, the Gentiles. This provokes grumbling in the parable. Doesn't the complaint of those first laborers sound like that of the older brother in Jesus' parable of the prodigal son? God's ways, however, are far from our ways. In this week's readings should caution us against the temptation to resent God for his lavish mercy. Like the Gentiles, many will be allowed to enter into the kingdom late, after having spent most of their days idling in sin. But even these can call upon him and find that he is near, as we sing in this Sunday's psalm. We should rejoice that God has compassion on all whom he has created. This should console us too, especially if our loved ones remain far from the vineyard and the Lord of the vineyard. Our task is to continue laboring in his vineyard. As St. Paul says in this Sunday's epistle, let us conduct ourselves worthily, striving to bring all men and women to the praise of his name and to his family. This is Scott Hahn for Breaking the Bread.
Breaking the Bread is a production of the St. Paul Center for Biblical Theology. If you'd like to receive written copies of Dr. Hahn's reflections on the Sunday Mass readings, you can contact us by email at staff@salvationhistory.com or call us at 740-264-9535. That's 740-264-9535.
Perverted
right, welcome back. Dr. Scott Hahn, when I go to get those files from his website, it said 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time, which it is. I guess whoever loaded it up, though, loaded it up from Cycle A instead of Cycle C, which is what we're in right now. So
Right, from a
little
couple of
reflections.
years
It
ago.
didn't actually reflect on the gospel that we just read, but
But
now
always a good message.
it was a good message. But the gospel, when the person went to the servant and said, "How much do you owe my master?" And he was going to pay him in olive oil. Olive oil is expensive
I know.
now. I don't know what it was then, but today it is like gold.
I know.
Very
Extremely.
expensive.
And the better the oil, what is it? Extra
virgin
is
olive
the
oil.
is
Yeah.
the top of the line, and the price really goes up.
I use olive oil a lot in my cooking, in all of my cooking.
That's right. A little bit of the Mediterranean style.
Yeah, but I
That's
did a
good
little
for
grocery
you.
shopping yesterday, and the I don't know the size of it. It's a larger size,
Maybe
but it was
32 ounces.
$25. Had been 33. It really is liquid gold, but it's good for you.
Yes, but I suppose you use it sparingly, right? You don't use a lot of it.
Whenever I make my sauce, I use it. I make our toast that I make. You like the toast I make?
Makes just plain Italian bread with olive oil. No butter, no anything,
You
no
fry it.
jam.
You put the olive oil in the pan, heat it up real good. And you can take the bread out of the freezer because I keep that semolina bread in the freezer. You take it out, put a slice in there, it sizzled, let it fry a little bit, turn it over.
Almost like you would French toast, but it's just oil and bread.
It absorbs the olive oil and fries a little bit.
It's
A little
best
crisp
thing
to it.
ever. So easy, best thing ever.
And it's good for you. Olive oil is very. In fact, our son was telling us he doesn't use butter anymore at all. He just uses olive oil.
Olive oil.
Yeah,
It is the way.
it is. So it is expensive. So being paid back in olive oil, he
That
must
was a
owe it a lot.
pretty good
It was
deal.
a pretty good deal because it is expensive.
I can't believe it's Friday already, but I'm still on a high from what a fabulous weekend we had last week, even into Wednesday.
Yeah, we paid visits to parishes.
Yes, we did. We were all over the place. But Saturday, if you think back to last week, Jim mentioned it was my birthday Saturday. It was one of the best birthdays. So many surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, you arranged for our son and the children to come to our. We were having a
You didn't know
parish.
they were coming.
No, I didn't know. So I was finishing a little mass, a midday mass for a special occasion. And here you show up at the end.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you doing here? Come outside."
I said I came to give you a birthday present.
Yeah, and I go outside, and there's Joseph and two of the littles. And we were having a parish festival. So there they went in the bouncy house and the pony rides and having the food and all that goes with it. So that was a great surprise. And then, of course, I had my vigil mass.
Well, our granddaughters couldn't be there because they were auditioning. They're show business folk, show folk.
Already auditioning for the Nutcracker. I thought.
8 and 2 years old, 8 and
Aw.
3 years old, I guess.
So they were at the dance
auditioning
studio.
for the Nutcracker. Yeah,
We'll have to find out how they did.
I'm sure they did well.
Yeah. And then mass was beautiful. I combined the children and the adults and the handbell. So it's, me, I'm all about the music. So that was just total joy. And then at the end, the choir brings out a cake and sang happy birthday. So that was just so many surprises and joy that day. And then Sunday, we went to the parish festival, the Padre Pio festival that Monsignor Marin was having at St. Bede's in Holland.
Beautiful, big. Now, I had been there probably about 10 years ago to broadcast at the Mass from the festival here on the station. And there was one tent with some picnic tables and, some food. And that was about it. Maybe a little bouncy house out in the field somewhere. But this
Oh my gosh, has it grown?
really, really grown. I'm going to highly recommend it again for next year.
And
when
people
Father
were
has it.
coming, and you can come and go. Loads of parking, free entry into everything. Of course, you purchased your food. They had a variety of food. The nights were grilling, standard picnic fare. But then they had the food trucks and Italian things. Of course,
Pastries.
pastries downstairs.
And
They
we
have
went to the
this-
healing service.
Yeah, the healing service. They have a shrine chapel now downstairs to Padre Pio with beautiful relics. A glove is there and storyboards, history pictures. It was just amazing.
So congratulations to Monsignor John Marine and the good folks over there at St. Bede, the Venerable Parish in Holland, Bucks County, PA.
You know,
Great
that's
event.
a lot of work to put
I'm
something
it's
like
one
that
of those
together.
things where it ended on Sunday, and probably Tuesday they're planning next year's already.
Yeah, it was
Take a day off and then
huge.
start up again
And I
for next
loved
year.
the public witness because they had the Verdi Band from Norristown, like a brass ensemble and drums and a like, marching band, a small marching band. And there they were with Immaculate Mary, other hymns, and Italian music, like the old-fashioned traditional processionals.
Yeah, it
that
was
they
like
would
Michael
have.
Corleone's wedding in The
Yeah,
Godfather.
like the villages of Italy with a huge Padre Pio on the, what do you call that, resting on their
Yeah,
shoulders.
I don't know what
All
you
the
call it.
young guys were carrying.
Mm-hmm.
They went around the block, and this is countryside. This is not like in the city
No,
or a
no.
small town. Their block had to have been a half mile.
Yeah,
So
and the bells were ringing.
and they were praying
church
the
bells.
rosary
Yeah.
through a speakerphone
Mhm.
and incense. Oh, it was glorious and a beautiful day. God
Yeah.
gave them both Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to St. Bart's in East Brunswick on Wednesday. Thank you, Lou, Dave. We met Zoli, Janet, and so many others who came out. Debbie, my good friend Debbie, who I really never met, but boy, we can text back and forth and email each other. So it was just wonderful. You were able to speak on a little bit of the witness
The
journey.
the journey. Mhm.
Developing the Catholic radio stations, but so fun to get out and meet the people that say, "I listen, I feel like I
Yeah.
know you." And now I can sit here in this room without a window, and I'm picturing all those people that were there. And I didn't catch their name. I think it was a mother and daughter. She had a bit of an Italian accent, and people just share stories and just get to shake
Yeah.
hands and have some cookies and coffee.
Yeah, and it was sponsored by the Knights of Columbus. It was in the parish hall, and and Lou was telling us, the gentleman who arranged it, that they do this kind of thing, and
Just a speaker
Right,
series.
right.
Mm-hmm.
and then we were driving home that night from East Brunswick back home to our home, and you said, to me, and you're right. You said you haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah.
I said no, but we have to be invited.
I know we just don't show up at your things.
I'm here. So if you want us to come, we can put on a nice stick show for you.
We'll take it on the road.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. Speaking at the masses is a different thing, and I because of the different structures and the sanctuaries and the stairs, and it's difficult for me to do that anymore. But this kind of thing is easier. Like if you have a speaker series, if you bring someone in to speak to your prayer group or your organization or your Knights of Columbus Council.
You've done the communion breakfasts,
Communion
mornings
breakfast,
of reflection.
Yeah, that's a little easier for me than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because every church is different, and sometimes it's not accessible for me, and it just makes it.
But they were so accommodating, and the weather wasn't the best. That was the Wednesday
Yeah, it
we
was
had
rainy.
the rain, and boy, it was really coming down. But people, God bless you, they came out, and there was such a warmth in there. Like we all felt like family, and the questions and answers, and it was a beautiful time.
I've been doing this a long time. Well, I told the story that night. One gentleman said, "What when I started 30 years ago? What do I see has changed since then?" And I said, "Used to be really when you did radio, nobody knew what you looked like unless there was a picture somewhere, But I told the story that one of the first events we ever did 30 years ago when we started doing radio was at a conference or something. We had a table, and I was talking to someone, and someone else heard me speak and came up and said, "Are you Jim Manfredonia?" I said,
Just by the sound of the voice.
sound of the voice. I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "I always thought you were taller." Why? We have this image of the voice, and they heard my voice, and they didn't quite connect with what I looked like and what my voice sounded like. But now you can watch it on YouTube. You can see, we're all over the place. So
Radio is so different today.
yeah, it's no longer just a radio. It's media.
He was addressing too, and I think we got a little sidetracked. He says, "What do you find?" Because you left the corporate world, that big building with 500 people, and answering the hierarchy. What was the difference from leaving the corporate world to now being?
Oh, did I miss that
faith?
question?
Yeah, I think you kind of.
Why didn't you stop me?
I know.
I didn't know that's what he was referring to. I thought he meant radio business.
No, I think
Oh,
he was.
well, then you should have said, "No, that's not what I meant."
Yeah, and now it's a faith-based radio life. It's two completely different things.
Yeah, my boss is bigger now. He's the big boss.
Yeah, the big CEO up in the sky.
Yeah, corporate was interesting, but it served. Again, in telling the story, it served a purpose in my life. I was with FedEx for 15 years. and I learned business structure and how to
That's true.
run things and the importance of treating your staff well.
Yeah, which is why he's in the building by himself.
No, no, don't pin that on me. I hear that too often, and that's not true.
Well, no, it's a staff of one. You clean
yeah, no, my big mistake is bad hiring.
I see what you're saying. No, I mean, it's not a big operation. It's Jim here doing everything because we don't have the sort of, what would you say,
Money.
budget
Yeah.
or, like a conglomerate budget and all that.
Yeah. No.
It's we try to be very frugal and streamline costs. We take seriously the money that you donate to the station, and we have to minimize how it's spent.
Mm.
And if it means keeping the lights off and using the pencils down to the nub and maybe being a little chilly in here, Jim will do it. Sure, you could hire a bunch of people to clean the bathroom and take out the trash, but I'll do that for nothing. So
Yeah.
that's what we do.
And I'm going to mow the lawn tomorrow. But
That's right.
my point was that you do learn as you go along. I taught high school for 2 years. So I learned how to teach. I was in the corporate world for a while. I learned the operation, how to run a business, and so God, leading up to what we're doing today or what I'm doing today, that's all been part of my conditioning or my learning curve.
And I think, too, back when you were at FedEx and you were feeling there's an emptiness, there's something else, something is missing. And then you started filling that void with reading papal encyclicals
Yeah.
and going to adoration and studying the Bible. Again, you were already equipping yourself now to sit by here without a book or a piece of paper and talk about tenets of the faith and where we are and why we do what we do and why we should be going to Mass. And, the list is so long.
FedEx did send me to anger management, though.
Yes.
I was angry. I wasn't angry. I was just so much in turmoil. I didn't know. I felt like I didn't belong there anymore. I just didn't belong there anymore. I was getting very frustrated, and I forget why they sent me there. I didn't do anything.
No.
I don't remember like doing anything, and I think they were just trying to get rid of me. God bless them. Listen, hey, for 15 years, they're a great company, and when I worked for them, and I enjoyed my time, and they treated their employees well, and still do. As a matter of fact, those of us, who have since left. But anyway, so that was a fun evening over there at St. Bartholomew's, and
Yes, they took good care of us.
they did. And if you have anything coming up and you'd like looking for a speaker, Cheryl will come speak for you.
Thank you. And we've done
Well, you're like the goodwill ambassador.
music things too, those sacred music presentations.
We have?
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite remember that one. Not recently.
Remember, it was Doylestown or Lady
Oh, a long
of
time ago. Yeah.
Carmel, and in Bucks County. Now I'm way out there, way out west, like Westchester,
Hmm.
St. Jude's.
Okay. Long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So coming up, we're going to be joined by John. I'm going to say Prius. We'll find out. I'll ask John when I get him on the phone. He's going to talk about a book written by Father Robert Fox entitled The Eucharist. And Father Fox was the director of the Fatima Family Apostolate. Now Mr. Priest is. So we'll talk about the book and the Eucharist. So you stay where you are, my friends. We will be back in just a bit with more on Friday Live. Don't go away.
Down the mountain, the river flows, and it brings refreshing wherever it goes. Through the valleys and over the fields, the river is rushing, and the river is here. The river of God sets our feet a dancing. The river of God fills our hearts with cheer. The river of God fills our mouths with laughter, and we rejoice. To the mountain we love to go, to find the presence of the Lord. Along the banks of the river we run, we dance with laughter, giving praise to the sun. The river of God sets our feet a-dancing. The river of God fills our hearts with cheer. The river of God fills our mouths with laughter, and we rejoice, for the river is here.
All right, welcome back. Well, when you do live radio and your guest is not available.
And who
Yeah.
knows? I'm reading a bit of his bio. They reside in Hansville, Alabama, with their 10
So
children.
he's a busy guy.
So he might be caught up in something. My goodness, what are the odds,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. So we'll get Mr. Priest back some other time to talk about that particular book.
But I think his topic, to Jesus through Mary, whatever apostolate and whatever title it might have, ultimately the message is the same. This is, of course, all about the Eucharist, but with a devotion to Our Lady of Fatima, deepening their faith, that draws us to, hopefully, if you have the chance to avail yourself of daily Eucharist, but that the message here is the importance of the Mass and why we should be there.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll try to get him back and talk about the book.
Yeah, I was very interested in. He delves a bit into the history. How was the Mass celebrated in biblical times? And being, involved in liturgy and the sacred music and, attending so many Masses every weekend. What was it like so many years ago?
Well, doesn't the psalm tell us to play on string instruments loudly?
Bang the drum and
Tambourine or whatever they call
that's
it.
right. It was Psalm 150. I think.
Some people wouldn't like that today, but they were doing it. It wasn't liturgy. It was worship of God.
They
before
were
the Old
rejoicing
Testament, yeah.
in with what they had and how they knew how to do it.
Now, I was reflecting on the Holy Father, who just turned 70 last Sunday on the Feast of the Triumph of the Holy Cross. Pope Leo turned 70, so it's the first time in my lifetime I'm older than the Pope. But having grown up in America as a contemporary, now we were probably in the same age, so when I was in 5th grade, he was in 5th grade. You think he was watching Gilligan's Island and Lost in Space?
He might have been.
Probably,
I mean,
right? He's
sure.
probably the first Pope who would know who Gilligan is.
Yeah. Finally, we've arrived. So important.
But think about that.
The 3-hour tour.
Just that, right. I mean, maybe he watched the Munsters. If he was here, I'd say, Holy Father, when you were growing up, what was your favorite TV show?
Right.
'Cause he would watch-
And you couldn't do that with any of the other
No, you
popes.
couldn't do it in the past popes. But to say, that this is his whole environmental upbringing was ours, was what we went through in those years.
But he didn't live in the United States all these years either.
Well, the past 20 years he's been in Peru, but he did grow up in Illinois. I mean,
Right.
he was a white. I was watching an interview last night with him, and I don't know who the interviewer was, but he did say, he grew up in Illinois. He said, I was a White Sox fan. He said, the first pope, probably a baseball fan, right? So he was growing up the same time you and I were growing up, in the same,
Right,
with the
in
same
America.
environment in America, with the same things going on.
And he went to school, wherever those schools were. I have not read a lot of his biography, Catholic school, public school, but there are fellow students now that are saying, hey, I sat behind him. I sat next to him. I had to do a project with him.
Yeah. So he probably watched Lost in Space. So if you said to the Pope, "Danger, Will Robinson," he'd know what you were
He'd
talking
laugh.
about. He'd know what the reference was. Or any other pope prior to him wouldn't really know, but
No.
Pope Leo would. So it's an interesting thing to see him as an American, an American who is a pope. Now someone said you're the first American pope. He said, I'm a pope for all the people,
Yes.
not just the
He
Americans.
Makes that point.
Right. I'm a pope for all the people, not just the Americans. But I was thinking about it the other day when I was watching a YouTube clip or something, and Pope Leo probably sat in front of a TV just like we did,
Right.
and hey, Mom, Dad, Gilligan's Island is on. Let's go. Let's go watch. Maybe he was a Lost in Space or a Star Trek guy.
But then they would pause to do their evening prayer or pray the family rosary.
And that's probably true. That's probably true.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting to reflect on our current Holy Father growing up in the same type of environment we grew up in.
And I was talking to somebody who said that for the audiences, the Wednesday audiences, sometimes he will go into English.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does speak English a lot. He does, he is the Bishop of Rome, so he does speak Italian, but I've seen many of his public speaking engagements where he is speaking English. And most people in Rome speak English anyway.
Right.
We found that out
Yeah.
many times. People
Right.
in Italy speak.
And so do the multitudes of tourists who might be there for the Wednesday audience from around the world. I'll never forget, we were there at the Wednesday audience, and there was a German group by us, and I could just overhear, and I took 4 years of German, which doesn't make me a German conversationalist, but you do remember little phrases and stuff. So I said hello to the woman and started, trying to converse in German. She goes, "Why don't we just talk English?" I said, "Okay." So I guess I didn't remember it too well.
No. And then there was the time we were in Italy, and I spoke Italian to the lady at the front desk in the hotel, asking where the ATM, where an ATM was, or a teller machine.
And she answered
And
you.
she answered me in Italian very quickly, and I said, "Oh, no." I said,
We
"You're
never
son of
found it."
Americano. You're American. You speak Italian so well. I thought you were Italian."
Yeah, the pronunciation is good. Angela, too, was able to do a couple of phrases, and she's got that look. She's over there, and she dressed well and fashionable. She looked like one of the young Italian women over there, and people would approach her and ask for directions or
Right,
something. And
right.
she goes, "No, I'm American."
Right? Yeah. No, that's true. So you have to appreciate someone who is multilingual, bilingual.
We were talking about multilingual. We were traveling all over the place, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, and we used this Waze. And I think many of you probably have that app. It used to be the GPS. I had a Garmin in the car. Now I use Waze. But when it came up, and I too had a lot of running to do this week where I was plugging in addresses, it says now, learn a language while you're driving.
Oh, really?
And I thought,
Waze? Oh, yeah?
shouldn't you just be concentrating on your driving than like repeating phrases in Spanish or Italian?
Well, I guess it's no different than listening to music or
Yeah. I
talking on the phone.
I just really have to focus on what I'm doing and where I'm going.
Well, especially if you know where you're going, it's a different story. You know the route, but
And our cousin Will, too, he says he'll drive. He does a lot of cross-country driving. He'll say, "I don't even put the radio on. I'm just both hands, 10 and 2. I'm very, very meticulous about I'm driving 100%. The brain doesn't think about anything else.
it's true. You need to be. When
Especially
we were
today.
well, because most other drivers are idiots.
Oh, well, there's that. There we go.
You have to just
I didn't
assume.
know that.
Just assume that everybody else doesn't know what they're doing, and you'll drive safely then, because
Yeah.
people do crazy things.
We used
They
to
just-
tell the kids that drive like everyone else
Is an
isn't
idiot.
quite on it. Yeah, they're not quite there.
because they're not watching, they're not paying
Defensive.
attention,
Yeah.
and the people who are texting,
And you see it
all the
around you.
time, texting. How can you
Head
do that?
driving and their head is down.
Yeah,
But you don't have the eyes on top of your head.
no, not at all.
Mm.
But there was a time when all that began. Remember when the texting and the phones first came out, the mobile phones, 30-some years ago, where someone was literally talking on the phone. Like you had to hold it up to your ear. There was no, like we use now with the
Bluetooth. Yeah.
They were holding it up to the ear talking, and it was in an accident. And it was like over here where we live in Bucks County. It was a major issue then. It was this is a horrible thing. We have to be careful. This was the first time that something like
Right.
that really happened.
Right.
But now it's all over the place.
You can't even, I think there's a new law. I don't know if it's Pennsylvania, definitely New Jersey. You can't even have it in your hand.
No, you can't be at a stoplight and read your email.
No. Like,
No.
okay, it's a red light. I'm just going to.
Pennsylvania, I don't know about Jersey. That's the law in Pennsylvania now. You cannot stop at a red light and look at your phone.
You cannot even touch it.
Yeah, you're in the car. I don't care if you're stopped or not. You're looking at your phone. You'll get a
And
ticket.
all you need is, friendly Officer John to pull up next to you.
Yeah,
And that happens.
that's true. Well, you shouldn't be doing that.
And they see, do you have your seatbelt? I mean, you just never know.
Got to be careful. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we go to another song, because Mr. Priest obviously is going to, I left a message to call me back, but I guess he's not available.
So I can only imagine what he could be doing. 10 children, there's more urgency there at home. I wonder if they homeschool. We'll get him back on sometime.
It's a full school.
Mhm.
Be right back. Don't go away.
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me, I can only imagine. Yeah. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever worship you. I can only imagine, yeah. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever worship you. I can only imagine.
Okay. Now, was that from that was a movie, wasn't it?
They did develop, the song existed first. And
But
then there
the
was
film was based on the song?
well, I think it incorporated it.
Hmm. It was a story of a kid who's
Something with
going
his,
through conversion or something. His father didn't want him.
something with the father. Yeah, I did not see
No,
the
I didn't see it
film.
either.
A lot of faith-based films out now, and then I see that Angel Studios. Are they the chosen
I think
producers?
so.
I think
But
Angel
is the
Studios.
Chosen over now?
There's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you used to hear a lot about it, and all of a sudden it kind of just disappeared.
No, I don't. But they're producing so many of these. It seems like every few days I see coming soon, or look for this in a theater near you. A lot of them are you have to almost sponsor it. Like you can have
And
a
rent the
night
theater
at
or
the
something.
theater and get 100 people to come, and it's different. You used to be able to just say, "Hey, let's go to the movies." Now it's a little bit more involved.
You went to the movies recently, didn't you? I didn't go, but you went.
What did I go see? I was so excited to finally see a movie because all summer there was like nothing to go see. It was sort of a spy kind of movie.
Oh, because
Relay was the
Angela's
name of it.
boyfriend was in it.
Yes, our
Our
daughter's
boyfriend was actually in the
it,
movie.
and he is deaf, and in it there was
He played a deaf man.
yeah, it was perfect casting. There was a scene where a gentleman goes and kind of like espionage and all that, like a modern theme. Imagine you work for a large company and you're going to sell grass seed to a foreign country, and the company that's making it is just letting it go through, and you know that there's something wrong. Sure, they'll plant the grass seed, but then there's chemicals that are going to be damaging, and you want to be a whistleblower. So it was all about whistleblowers and then how their lives were protected, and do they blow the whistle or do they keep it under wraps? And it was very, very good. It's not something I would electively have gone to see, but it was very well made, and of course, her boyfriend was in it, so I had to go support that little scene. It was a short little scene, but he did a great job.
What do we got paid for that? Must have gotten paid.
I would love to know. Sure. And I think they pay very well.
Well, I think if you have a speaking part, they have to pay like scale, whatever that.
Okay, so he doesn't speak. He uses sign
I know.
language.
I wonder what he got paid. He didn't actually
And the thing was, he
verbalize.
was in the main billing with all those actors.
Like
Who's
the
the young
cast?
lady? We saw her in a Cinderella
Oh, she was in Cinderella.
version of Cinderella.
What was her name?
She was cuter than
Yeah.
anything, but it was so what a twist at the end. Great surprise ending.
Hmm.
So Relay, I don't know if it's still out there, but it comes around, whatever your platform is, Roku or Hulu or whatever it is. I highly recommend it.
I was in King Kong.
Yeah, you didn't get paid.
No, I was just an extra at the end.
Yeah, with about 3,000 others in Times Square.
It was the 1976 version of King Kong with Jessica Lange. And at the instead of climbing the Empire State Building, the gorilla climbed the World Trade Center. Actually, leaped from one tower to the other.
No, was it a guy in a costume or?
No, it was the real King Kong. The real King Kong.
It's fabulous. I wonder what he got paid.
The scene that I was in was the last scene, and in the square of the World Trade Center was a life-size dead King Kong.
And people were gathered around that.
And there was blood coming out of it. It was life-size, really a big gorilla. I mean, a big monkey. And the scene was that they had shot King Kong down off the Trade Center, and of course, then he pummeled it down to the ground. And there he was, laid out there, dead.
And people were
And
gawking.
we were the onlookers, the New Yorkers who came. Ooh, King Kong is dead. And so I was there as one of many, probably about 3,000 people there. And then it turns out that that's the scene that they're rolling the credits over.
Oh, so you can even not get a clear
And we were
image.
all just kind of standing, waving our arms, like we wore bright yellow shirts, as did everybody else. So you really can't differentiate from one from the other. But it was an interesting. It was filmed at 3 o'clock in the morning
Well, yeah, during the day.
because people
it's
worked there.
busy place.
Yeah, it was a busy place in those days. And remember we went into the city and took the subway, and we got the subway into the World Trade Center, and we got off the train, and there was a cop, a police officer, and we said, "Is this where King Kong is?" Figuring to hope we get the right stop. And the police officer said, "Well, it's not the real King Kong. It was a facsimile." Oh, really? Oh, well, in that case, I'm going home.
Yeah.
The real King Kong. And he was serious. we had a laugh as we walked away. That's not the real King Kong. It's just a facsimile. Oh.
I guess the real one wasn't available.
No, I guess not. Well, he died in the first movie.
Yeah.
They couldn't bring him back. But that was my motion picture experience. No credits, though. I didn't get any credits.
No. But to the point where he got credits, he was
Angela's boyfriend.
yes,
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, no.
exciting.
Well, I guess our time is up. We want to thank you for being here with us today, and look forward to having a nice weekend. Enjoy it, and let's pray for each other. We'll look forward to being with you again next Friday.
Amen.
God bless you.